Hello and welcome. God delivered me from all my fears. In the book of Psalms chapter 34 and verse 4, it says, I sought the Lord and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. We see that God is faithful, that when we seek him, we find him. The psalmist said that he sought the Lord. Other versions said he prayed to God, and God heard his prayers. God answered him. Our God is not an idol or too distant that he cannot hear us. He hears us always. And not only does he hear us and sympathize with us, he actually gets involved in our lives. He delivered me from all my fears. Sometimes we spend all our energy and our resources trying to run away from our fears, trying to avoid our fears. And we get exhausted and we get burned out. But from the psalmist's perspective, when he called upon God, God made a way for him. God delivered him from all his fears, not just one, all of them, because God is faithful. Next verse 5. Those who look to him are radiant with joy. Their faces shall never be ashamed. The psalmist continues and says that those who trust in God, those who hope in God, those who look on him, those who fix and set their eyes on him, they are radiant with joy. They are enlightened by him. He fills them with joy. And the joy of the Lord is our strength. Irrespective of our circumstances, his faithfulness endures for all generations. So those who look to him are radiant, are filled with enlightenment and joy. And then he says, and their faces shall never be ashamed. Other Bible versions put this as past tense, that those who looked to him were filled with joy and their faces were never ashamed. And then others put it in present tense, that those who look to him are radiant with joy and their faces are never ashamed. And then other versions put it as future tense. Those who will look at him will be radiant with joy and their faces will not be ashamed. It really doesn't matter whether it's past, present, or future. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. God is the same. He does not change. His faithfulness endures for all generations. That when we put our trust in him, when we look at him, then he covers us from shame. He protects us from shame. He ensures that we will not be ashamed. He lifts us up to a higher ground, to a place that he has for us, a good place that he has for us. There is hope for everybody listening today because God is faithful. God has good thoughts and good plans for us. And when we call to him, when we look to him, he sets our feet upon a firm ground and a sure foundation that we will not be ashamed. Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed this presentation, please support the channel by liking the video and also by subscribing.